Hello and welcome to part 4 of the banana tutorial. This is David Ward. When last I left you, we had set up the bones for peeling the banana and given them bendy bones and then set up some action constraints so we could edit the banana peel. Okay, so now what we need to do, let's go ahead and, what I like to do is I put the rig on its own layer down here in the bottom left corner just to get it out of the way. We don't need it right now. Okay. So now we got the banana itself. I want to add in the flesh of the banana inside. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it. And we never did rename that banana, did we? So let's name cube. We'll just say it banana skin. All right. And then call this one banana flesh. All right. So banana flesh, we can get rid of the armature, keep the subsurf, and then we can get rid of all of these vertex groups, and it's easy. You can do it a couple of ways. You can just grab one and just hit the minus button a few times, or you can hit that down arrow and say delete all groups. Boom. So we don't need it. The only thing we're going to need is a banana base, but we can add that back in after we get it modeled the way we want. Okay, so this is going to be the banana flesh. Let's go ahead and turn that automatic keyframe insertion off because it's putting keyframes, and I didn't want that, but excuse me. This says banana flesh. Let's give it another A. There we go. Alright. So let's grab the banana skin and just hit H to hide it. And we'll just edit the banana flesh model. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the stem up here and grab that loop there at the top. Delete it, vertices. And I don't want skins on this one, separated skins. So I'm just going to select everything, hit W, and I'm going to remove doubles. And there's another thing I want to do with that remove doubles. As you can see, I added the sharper edge on the corners of the banana, but I want to go ahead and merge those together now so it's nice and round. So we can go to each one and merge them together, or we can use this remove doubles a little bit more in-depthly. So right now the merge distance is pretty much, if they're right on top of each other, they're duplicates, merge them together. But we can change that merge distance. So we just pop that up a little bit, and you can see it's removing different amounts of vertices each time. So boom, there we go. So now I'm going to hit Control E, clear all the seams, and we just basically have just that banana flesh. Looks like we got some triangles up here from the merging of the vertices. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Grab this end and extrude it out once, scale it way down. Move it back into place, and we've got 16 vertices here. So one thing we could do, like on a cylinder, we would just hit E to extrude one more time. Then we could hit Alt M to merge them all at the center. But then you got all these triangles here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make some quadrangles, some squares, square faces. So got my vertex selection mode. I'm going to grab two opposite each other and hit F to create an edge between those. And then what I want to do is give it 1, 2, 3 subsections there, subdivisions, W, subdivide, and we're going to go boom, boom, 3. So now I grab the edge select mode. I can select that edge, and then there, hit that, and makes a face nice and pretty. I might have not given it enough. I might have to subdivide a few more times. So yeah, so I need to do it one more time. So subdivide that one more time. That there, and well, I guess I needed one. No, let's see. Yeah, one more time. Subdivide, and then I'll fix it. There we go. Alright, so now let's grab all of these guys. W smooth. Boom. And it should straighten them out a little better. Or we can just go on the top view, kind of do it manually. Okay, so get that one more time, smooth. Alright, so now we got the banana flesh itself. And it's still a little too square on the sides. So I'm just going to grab the whole thing, W smooth, and that should round it a little better. Still Still a little square. Let me grab each one of those offending corners there. And we'll just kind of scale that. Actually, just deselect here at the top because it's fairly round there. Here, and then scale that S Shift Z so it's only on the X and Y axis. And that's a little better. But I want to smooth this up just a bit more. Smooth. Okay, so now we have the banana flesh. We don't need the whole thing, at least not in this context, so I'm just going to delete the bottom part of it. I'll just have this part sticking up out of the banana skin. Tab out and Alt, hide that so I can see. Looks like it needs to come down a little bit, so let's extrude down some. Just kind of scale it down some, just move it there. And it's exactly the same size as the skin, and it needs to be a little smaller, so I'm going to Alt-S to scale along the normals and just make it a little skinnier in there. Okay, so now we have our banana flesh. Move that up just a little bit. Okay, so now we can start working on materials. So we added the seams to the banana skin already. Let's expand this out over here and go to our UV image editor. Tab into edit mode. And what I'm going to do is just go to the side view and just go U, project from view. So this is going to be all procedural textures. I'm just unwrapping the UVs so that I have a distinct path to put the textures on. So I'm just going to straighten this out so it's basically a straight line for the banana skin. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll just do it like that. All right, do the same thing with the banana flesh. Select all that, view, project from view, scale that up, rotate that. Okay, scale that up a little higher. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. And go ahead and start working on the banana skin itself. Not sure how far we'll get in this part with the materials, but we'll get started at least. Alright, so right now, just when we generally start Blender, unless you've changed your user preferences, we always start in the Blender render, the internal render. So I'm going to switch to cycles. Some of you might be excited to hear me say that because I typically didn't used to work with cycles too much because it was just too darn slow. But since 2.79 came out, it works well with AMD processors and AMD GPUs, the graphics cards. So that's what I have, and it works a lot faster now. So that's what I've been using exclusively since 2.79 came out. I don't know, probably close to a year ago now. 2.8 should be around the corner. But in any case, switch to cycles. Go to our material setting. I'm going to call this one banana underscore skin. Okay. Use nodes. All right. So now I'm going to come over here to our node editor here, switch to the material view, and now we have where we can change the colors. So what I'm going to do, Shift A, I'm going to add in an input, and it's going to be texture coordinates. I'm going to move that over here. Then I'm going to Shift A. I'm going to add in a vector, and it's going to be mapping. I'm going to move that here. And I'm going to come from the UV coordinates, which we just unwrapped, to the vector, and then I'm going to move these things over a little bit. So I got to add in one more thing, Shift A, and it's going to be converter color ramp. So we're going to pop that in right here and set the vector to the factor. It'll connect there. There we go. And then the color to the diffuse color. So we can set the preview so we can kind of see a little better what we're doing there. And right now it's just the black and white. We can also change this to material view. And you can see where it's kind of darkish gray here, fading up to a lighter whitish color. So bananas aren't black and white, so let's change this bottom one here to just kind of a dark brown. It's going to be the end of the bottom, kind of the, you know, where I guess the banana flower starts before the banana is formed. I'm going to make this one that nice canary yellow, like right there. And let's just move that down, and we're going to copy this one Bink. Let's move that over. And the way we can copy a color, go to hex color and just Control C that. And we'll go to this one and just paste it. Boom. So now we got the two dark colors. So we want the stem, the tip of the stem, to be a little darker. Now, even though this is set to map on the UV, it's still a little off with the angle. As you can see, it's kind of got an angle there. So let's go to our side view. So we can set the rotation. We can play with that. And it's probably going to be around, not sure if it's easy. I've had to play with this quite a bit to get it to look the way I want it to. It's hard to, I have to probably set it the Y and Z coordinates there. There we go. So negative 45 looks like, and then maybe negative 45 on this one as well. Or maybe negative 30. There. Okay, so now we got where we can play with the colors a little bit more. So just move that up just on the very end of the stem. Just like that, with the yellow. A little sharper transition there. Okay, and then the bottom of it needs to come up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this particular banana is going to be a little bit on the green side, so I'm going to hit Control and click in there. And then this one's going to be a bit of a green color. Okay, so that's looking real nice. Let's do the same thing up here. Let's put the yellow deliciousness right there. And we'll just make it kind of a green stem as well. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. One thing, if we were to render it, since we've switched into cycles, we still have some Blender internal settings here on different pieces. So I'm going to grab the default scene lamp, and it's by default is set by point. I like to switch to sun, so I can change the direction real easily. So I just want it to kind of shine kind of from the side. So let's hit Alt R, it'll clear out the rotation. Go to our front view and just rotate that like so. So if we look through our camera, let's zoom out a little bit. Control S to save that. Hit F12. You see it looks okay. But banana skins are a little shinier. And another thing, by the way, if you happen to have a nice GPU, you just go to actually your file, user preference. Oh, darn it. Let me start that back up. User preferences and Open Broadcaster software apparently do not play well together. Try it one more time. File, user preferences. Nope. Alright, one more time. Basically, you just go to the file, user preferences, and change the your system settings to use your GPU. And then you can change it over here, GPU compute. And you can see it renders, well, once it loads the render kernels, it'll render a lot faster. I'll mess with that later. So we'll just cancel that out for now. Come on, meow. In the meantime, let's jump over here, banana skin, and let's add a little bit of shininess to it. Oh, that's taking forever to cancel out. Oh, boom, there we go. All right, add a little bit of shininess to it. So what we're going to need to do, Shift A, we're going to add in a mix shader. Pop that into place. Automatically scoots things over nicely. Shift A, glossy. Move that up here. Grab that noodle, drag it down. I like to put it in the top one so I can set the factor. And basically, if it's all the way over here, it's going to be all 100% the top one. If it's all the way to the right, it's going to be 100% the bottom one. So I want it to be almost 100% the bottom one. I'm going to say 95.95. That's 95%. And then that should give us a nice. Let's switch back to CPU just so I don't have to wait on the render kernels. Control save. And if we go to rendered view, preview, you can see it's got a little bit of a sheen there. I can grab that lamp, make it a little brighter, turn on the use nodes and set it to 5's probably good. And then go to our world settings and also use nodes there and change the background a little brighter so we get a nice sheen there on our banana. And it looks a little pixelated in some spots, so let's make sure we're set to smooth shading. Looks like we are. And there we go. Subdivisions too. Okay, so we can kind of see where the seams are, where the banana is going to unfold, but we're running out of time for this section. In part, this is part 4, I believe. In part 5, we'll get in and add in the solidify, and that'll add some thickness to the banana skin. But before we mess with that, we're going to go ahead and do the skin for the banana flesh. But in any case, that's going to be it for this part 4. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and save that, and we'll see you in part 5.